So the first couple of days of the Cayman Islands, I didn't really film too much because of different circumstances. The first day we just traveled and got here, went grocery shopping and stuff, so there's really nothing to film. And day two, we were just out all day. We were all over the beach mostly, and then we went to Kamana Bay, which is like, we'll call it a modern village, and it's kind of neat because they have like a cinnamon and all these really cool restaurants and lots of really nice shops and things. But basically yesterday was just too chaotic, and then today we just had thunderstorms all day, so we didn't get much footage for that either. But I am gonna go back and just kind of briefly give you an overview of all of the things that I read the last couple of days. So on the 4th and the 5th, and earlier today, I read Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden, which is the second book of the Winter Song trilogy, and oh my god, I loved it. It was so good and so action-packed and so fun and just really respectful of Russian culture and life. She just obviously did her research and everything, so it was just really great. I read a couple of chapters our first night here, and then I just kind of crashed and went to sleep because I was exhausted from traveling all day. And then yesterday I read a few chapters as well, not much because it was also a really busy day. And then today I actually finished it. Yesterday and today I was just mad. I was mad about a lot of stuff that was going on because it was just crazy and chaotic, and I was just really angry at one character. Just to give you a ballpark, yesterday I started around the I think chapter 20. So if you want to go back and look back at that chapter and just kind of get a ballpark of kind of what I was feeling at that specific time, feel free to do that. But overall, I just read that. And then today, January 6th, after I finished Girl in the Tower, I also started Shibumi by Trevanian, and you're gonna get a bunch of glare, I'm sorry. This is how do I want to describe this book? It's an international espionage kind of book. Our main character is named Nikolai Hell, and he is fascinating. I actually wasn't so sure I was enjoying this at first, and then I got into it a little bit more, and it's actually very interesting and very well written, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I don't want to tell you too much more than that, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's got some very interesting and thought-provoking ideas in here that I never really kind of expected. But one thing I'm not loving so much right now is there's some sexism stuff, which is always grand, but then when you consider the time period that this was written in, I mean, it's understandable, but at the same time, it still really pisses me off. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this, and now I'm about, as you can see, about halfway through, and I hope to finish this up in the next day or two. We'll see how much time I actually have, because tomorrow we're hoping that the weather is a little bit nicer so we can go out and do things, and hopefully I'm able to do a little bit more filming if possible. So far, that's what I've been reading. Then just to recap, since the 4th was day 1 of our trip, we included me reading Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden and Shibumi by Trevanian, and I'm actually planning on starting my reread of Peter Pan shortly because I just have very fond memories of reading it here, and I just felt like it would be a perfect reread after not being in this place for 15 years. After Peter Pan, I have a few things I'm considering, but we'll see if I even get to them because it depends on how busy we are and stuff. But for right now, it's gonna be Shibumi and Peter Pan, and then I'll check back in with you guys and let you guys know what I'm planning on doing. So it's January 7th, 2019, and I am sitting outside on our porch after a nice walk down the beach. It was a bit rough. We got hit a couple of times with some high waves and stuff. But it's a really nice day. There hasn't really been any rain, just a spotty shower here and there. But before we did that, I managed to finish my reread of Peter Pan, which I really enjoyed. It was different than I remembered, but at the same time it still had a lot of the whimsical, fun aspects to it. I haven't really done any more reading, but that's the second book I've finished this trip. That's really exciting because I normally don't get a lot of time to finish a lot of stuff during school and whatever. But yeah, as you can see, the sea is having a good time today. It was a little bit higher. Yeah, well, it was a lot higher yesterday, but it's pretty good today. And it looks like we might have one or two more storms coming. It's hard to tell. I don't know. But that's just a brief update is what's going on. Hope to maybe pick up Shibumi again later today. Maybe I can make another decent chunk in it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so far today's been a pretty good day. So I promised I would take you out when I went to dinner today, but that didn't end up happening because my phone is garbage. But basically what happened since I last talked to you, which was a lot earlier in the day, is we left. We went out to dinner and had a really good time, and we walked around a little bit, and now I'm back, and obviously getting ready for bed, sort of, and I am going to try and make a large dent in Shibumi, which I don't have in this room. It's far away because, once again, I'm garbage, and hopefully I get through part 2, which is another like 100 or so pages, but I've got to go to bed. You know, I'm working on my sleep schedule. It's one of my big goals for the year is to try and normalize my sleep schedule. And so yeah, I hope to get through another large chunk and check back in with you guys soon to let you know my progress. But as a brief aside, before I go, this is the den/library area of our condo. As you can see, there's all kinds of cool books in the back. So, brief update time. I got through another chapter of Shibumi, and I'm exhausted. I'm falling asleep. So, I'm probably going to go to bed shortly, but know that I'm enjoying it, even though this last part got a little bit weird. Yeah, I'm liking it still. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but today was Serbian/Orthodox Christmas, and so it was just another really lovely day. I got myself 2 books before I left. I got myself The Land of Silver Apples by Nancy Farmer, which is the second installment in the Sea of Trolls trilogy, and I'm really looking forward to reading that later this year. And then the other book I got for myself, or I should say pre-ordered, was The Witch of the Winter by Catherine Arden, or The Winter of the Witch. Witch of the Winter or Winter of the Witch. I always forget which one it is. By Catherine Arden, which is the 3rd and final installment in the Winter Night trilogy. And I'm so excited to read that, probably later this week after I've gotten home from being here, but I'm super excited to get into it. finished Shibumi a little while ago, and I actually really ended up enjoying it. Basically, just to give you a brief little idea of what this is about, this is an espionage novel, but it is also character study. So we follow our main character named Nicholas Hell, and he's kind of got a really interesting background. He doesn't really identify with any specific place or any specific person exactly, and he's really studying all of these different Japanese philosophies, and basically he becomes an assassin. And it's just kind of all about his life and just how he became the person that he was, because it starts with him when he was really young, and then it kind of goes up into his later life, and just kind of things go from there. But this novel is nothing like I was expecting it to be. It was advertised as a suspenseful thriller, and it's really, really not that. It's, as I said, a philosophical character study, and so, I mean, if you know that going in, it's actually a really, really interesting book. I really liked it, and finished it, and later today I'm probably gonna start Hook, but I haven't decided yet. So yeah, I'll just update you guys later. Since I finished Shibumi earlier, I was trying to decide what to pick up, and I'm now currently reading Hook, which is, I guess, an origin story of how Captain Hook came to be a thing, I guess. And, you know, it's okay so far. I'm about 20-ish% of the way through, and, you know, it's not the most spectacular thing I've ever read, but it's interesting. And, I mean, because I'm garbage for everything sea, water things, and I also really enjoy pirate books, I'm kind of gonna, you know, probably like it more than, you know, any other fantasy book, despite it not being my most favorite thing in the world. But yeah, it's okay. I don't know how I feel about it overall. I'm in the Cayman Islands, and it's like the perfect place to read pirate / sea, ocean, sailing things. And I would read it here. And I just finished my reread of Peter Pan the other day, so I was kind of like feeling it, if you know what I mean. But it's not the best book I've ever read. But it's enjoying enough, and I'm hoping it'll get a little bit more entertaining as time goes on. Today, I managed to finish Hook. Don't remember the author right now. I'll put it up on the screen, you know, like I always do. But I actually ended up enjoying it a lot more than I initially did. I remember telling you guys yesterday that I wasn't a huge fan of it. And I wasn't at first, but then I got into it a little bit more and got into things a little bit deeper, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Did I have some issues with it? Yeah, there were some things in the book that I just wasn't a fan of, and if you read it, then feel free to come talk to me about it, because there were just some things that really were not a good time. The author took a really unique and different spin on the world, though, and that was interesting. I really liked learning about Captain Hook's backstory from her perspective. I thought it was just really generally well done. And feelings about Captain Hook, okay? Like, it's real. And yeah, I ended up enjoying it. I don't think I'll read the other books within the series because I've heard mixed things about them. But I think the others in the series are, one's about Pan, one's about the Sea Witch, and one is about the Lost Boys, or a specific Lost Boy, I don't know. But I've heard questionable things about the other ones, so I'm debating about whether I want to go down that road. But if you've read them, feel free to let me know your general thoughts down below or something. But yeah, I ended up really enjoying it, and it was a good read to read here. I'm kind of, honestly, the last couple of days, I've really gotten into this like theme of what I'm reading, because I read Peter Pan, and then I read Hook, and now I'm actually getting ready to read another sea-themed book. Now that I finished Hook, and honestly, I finished all the books that I planned on reading while on the trip, but I've still got a couple of days left. I'm going to pick up Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, which is book 2 in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, because that's been on my TBR for a long time. I read book 1 way back last February, so it's been about a year. And I figured, I'm in the Caribbean and I'm surrounded by sea things, and Percy is who he is, and those books are, you know, a fun time. They're really quick, and I could probably finish it up before I end up going home on Friday. So I'll probably just whip my way through that one next and see how it goes. I finished the Sea of Monsters earlier, and I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people have issues with certain aspects of the Percy Jackson series, and especially that book, and I understand them. I completely understand them. But at the same time, I am literally garbage for anything classics. And this is hitting all of my sweet spots in every possible way, so I am living for it. I really, really enjoyed the book. I'm definitely looking forward to picking up The Titan's Curse, which I believe is book 3, sometime in the next couple of weeks. Next up is a book that I've been dying to read for the last week, and it just came out on Tuesday. And so yeah, because I mean, I go home tomorrow, and so I'll be back in the cold and the wintry things, and it is just gonna be the perfect book. Plus, it's the ending of a trilogy, and so I'm just really looking forward to reading The Winter of the Witch. It's just gonna be so good, okay? Like, I am ready for it. But in the meantime, I'm just relishing in my residual feelings for the Percy Jackson series and book 2. I think book 2 is the last bit of my knowledge. I mean, I have little snippets here and there from friends from high school talking about it as they were reading it and stuff, and telling me kind of what was going on. But definitely books 1 and 2 are the ones I knew most about, not only because of the movie franchise that supposedly failed, and just people talking about it. They're just the 2 that people seem to talk about the most for some reason. But as I said, I really enjoyed them. They are by no means my favorite things in the entire world, but just all of the classics references and the world building and everything are just super fun. Plus, I took the which godly parent would you have or whatever quiz, and I mean, to no one's surprise, I got Poseidon, and I'm very happy about it because it fits. But I just had a really great time reading it. In some respects, I thought it was better than The Lightning Thief, but I think overall I liked The Lightning Thief more. But they're pretty tied at the same time. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And as I said, I can't wait to pick up book 3 at some point in the near future.
It means they're just going to
was finally able to get you guys to Cayman Bay and show you a little bit of what we are seeing.